Welcome to The Gentleman of the Jungle. The story, in short, it is based upon a situation where Europeans come to Africans seeking shelter. The kind Africans extend help, but the greedy Europeans, after occupying the lands of Africans, dominate them. The native Africans become homeless. In the same scenario, an elephant comes to a man for help. Once the kind man extends help, the elephant occupies his hut, and the man becomes homeless. He protests against this. The lion assures him of justice, but a series of commissions would not succeed in returning the hut to the man. Every time he builds a new hut, the animals would occupy. The man finally sets his bigger and better hut, occupied by the jungle lords, on fire. Thus, he gets his peace. This is a fable written by Jomo Kenyatta, a Kenyan anti-colonial activist and politician who ruled Kenya as its prime minister from 1963 to 1964, and then as its first president. He was the country's first indigenous head of government and played a significant role in the transformation of Kenya from a colony of the British Empire into an independent republic. This story reflects the attitude of Kikuyu people of Kenya toward European laws and commissions. Let us go directly to the story. Once an elephant made a friendship with a man. One day, due to a heavy thunderstorm, the elephant went to his friend for shelter. The kind man permitted the elephant to put his trunk inside his hut, as he had room only for him and the trunk of the elephant. But the cunning elephant pushed his head inside and flung the man out. The man started to grumble and began arguing with his friend. Disturbed, the lion came roaring and sought to know why there was disturbance. The elephant replied that he had only been discussing with his friend the possession of the little hut. The lion wanted to have peace and tranquility in his kingdom, so he commanded his ministers to appoint a commission of inquiry and report accordingly. The man was pleased by the sweet words from the king of the jungle. The following elders were appointed to sit on the commission: Mr. Rhinoceros, Mr. Buffalo, Mr. Alligator, the Right Honorable Mr. Fox as chairman, and Mr. Leopard as secretary to the commission. But there was no one from the man's side. When he protested, he was told that there was no one from his side who was well educated to understand intricacy of the jungle law. He was further assured that there was nothing to fear, since the members of the commission were chosen by God and they were endowed with teeth and claws. So they would investigate the matter with the greatest care. The commission sat to take the evidence. Mr. Elephant justified his act, saying that he had always regarded it as his duty to protect the interests of his friends, and that had caused the misunderstanding. He said that his friend had invited him to save his hut from being blown away by a hurricane. The elephant said that he considered it necessary to turn the undeveloped space to a more economic use by sitting in it. The elders of the jungle supported what Mr. Elephant had said. Then the man began to give his account. The commission cut him short and asked him if the undeveloped space in his hut was occupied by anyone else before Mr. Elephant assumed his possession. The man couldn't answer this question. Finally, the commission gave its verdict. It was not on the expected lines. They concluded that the dispute had arisen through a misunderstanding due to the backwardness of man's ideas. They defended Mr. Elephant's actions, saying that he had fulfilled his sacred duty of protecting man's interests. They alleged that the space should have been put to its most economic use, as man had not yet reached the stage of expansion. They arranged a compromise to suit both parties. Accordingly, Mr. Elephant would continue to occupy his hut, whereas the man was advised to look for a site to build another hut. The man did as suggested, for he feared the teeth and claws of the commission. But the same fate awaited. A new hut was built. Mr. Rhinoceros occupied. A royal commission was appointed only to give the same finding. This procedure went on till all were accommodated with new huts. The man by now had decided to adopt an effective method. When the huts already occupied by the jungle lords were beginning to decay, he built a bigger and better hut. As soon as the animals saw it, one by one, they occupied the space they found. They soon started to fight over their rights of penetration. The man found the perfect opportunity and set the hut on fire and burnt it to the ground while the animals were all inside. He was finally relieved. He said, "Peace is costly, but it's worth the expense." The moral of the story is, you can fool people for a time, but not forever. Thus, the story concludes on a satirical note, condemning the actions of the Europeans who exploited the Africans by influencing them to sign the treaty that they never understood. Overall, this is a story that depicts the plight of the Africans under the clutches of the Europeans who came for help, but they continued to throw the weight on the native Africans. Jomo Kenyatta has presented it so tellingly that this is perfectly visual and this can be felt at all times. And this ends the explanation. Do subscribe to encourage. Do not forget to share your comments, your opinions. Till we meet with the next video. Thank you very much.